You know it's super fly when Day Bar is opened. Hip-hop review, news, plus breaking new artists, pop culture, current events with an urban view of it. This is all things hip-hop, delivered raw, unpolitically correct, the fans' perspective, putting all artists in check. Dope content, current hot by remarkable men. Our thoughts, clearly. Welcome to Audio Theory.
Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button as well as the like button. What's good, Danny? How have you been?
Good, bro. That definitely a long weekend. I feel like this was like longer than most holiday weekends.
Right.
I feel like I did a lot for July 4th, but also did nothing, which is like the weird part. Like one day I was like on the beach the whole fucking day and yet still drank until like 1 a.m. And then like having Monday off, you're like, should I be doing something productive? Should I keep drinking? Like, I don't know. Like it was just like a lot of nothingness, but still fun. How about you, man? How was your long weekend?
It was good. So I flew down to LA last week on Wednesday night.
Nice.
So I've been here for about a week now. Just came down for the long weekend, and it's my mom's birthday on July 4th. So
nice. Happy birthday to her.
Appreciate it. I'll let her know. We always go to my aunt's house in like the Altadena area, which is kind of like northeast of LA.
Okay.
So we just had a barbecue, lit a few fireworks, went to go watch like official legal fireworks as well after that.
Because LA fireworks are illegal, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think they're illegal in most places. Granted, I don't know if it depends. Yeah, I feel like everything's legal in Florida. But yes, I mean, we had some little ones, and then we had like, I think the really aggressive dynamite looking ones that could blow your fucking hand off. Allegedly, in case the feds are watching this. And then just went out to a few bars throughout the weekend, so it was super fun. That was like the first time I really gone out, especially that much since moving to San Francisco.
Okay.
And it was kind of like when I was in Florida, I was like, damn, like the nightlife is just different in
I know,
places. Dude. So that's the only thing I kind of regret, but also glad I did, because now I'm like, fuck, I low-key miss LA.
Dude, I feel like the best meme I've seen like since like everything has started opening up is like going outside is costing me way too much money. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like I feel like we are spending just so much money because there's always something else happening. Like, I'm
right.
Like, fuck it. Like, can we just chill? Because even chilling and doing nothing, you end up dropping like a few $100s or $1,000
on like DoorDash or Postmates or something.
Yeah, dude. Like even like dude, me and my girl had a full, like every day was at least a couple $100. And then like on our chill night yesterday, I still dropped like 90 on Uber Eats and like booze to watch a movie. It's like, dude, where does this fucking end? You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, dude, it was probably the best part for me over the holiday weekend was my boy has actually, you met him when we went to Coyo. Like my boy's from, he's actually from LA, who went to Berkeley with Billy.
Nice.
It's his birthday on July 5th. So on July 4th, we went to his place in Miami Beach. Dude, he lives on the 39th floor. So you can see the entire firework festivities all over Miami to the left. And then if you look completely straight, you see all the fireworks in Fort Lauderdale. So literally like
oh, wow.
Left to right, all you see is fireworks completely like in front of you. And then to your extreme right, you have the ocean front, like right there. So it was like a vibe up there, dude. And then we played fucking flip cup the whole night and stacks and like beer pong. Like it was just like a cool college night, but also not being out because like I don't know, man. Like we'll get to this point later, which is probably one thing we forgot on the rundown. Like there was a lot of fucking crime this weekend, bro. Like all over America. Like not even like in just like quintessential like ghetto hood areas. Like people are getting fucking shot up in like very well, off areas like in Georgia, for example. So like, I was very cognizant of that. I'm like, bro, I'm not really trying to be out. Like, I know Miami's been open for a minute, but I'm like, I'm not really trying to be out this weekend, though.
Yeah. I mean, we could get into a little bit of it now if you want, but for me, I didn't
have
really
that fear at all.
I'd say no, just because like on the actual day of July 4th, like I was just confined to my family, and then also the neighborhood is like incredibly quiet and suburban. it's not like a really an active, block party or like, a college kid infested area or anything.
Right.
So when I was there, I didn't. And then even going out at night, the bar I went to is near my mom's house. And that's like a super tame street and everything. Doesn't even like before the pandemic didn't really attract the quote unquote like hood crowd. So in those instances, I didn't really feel that way, but I'm sure if I ventured off more into like LA proper and was in sketchier areas, it probably 100% would have crossed my mind. And it 1,000% would have crossed my mind in SF, because SF is like Gotham City in some areas. It's fucking out of control.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, like I don't think it actually was that bad in Miami. Because me and my girl on where did we go? I think that's actually 2 weeks ago. So the week prior, we took for a walk down Miami Beach, and I'm like, oh, it's funny how like when the rest of the country's open, like this part of the country's not as crazy. But I don't know, man. I just feel like for like a major holiday like that, the rule really is in like Miami, like try to avoid big places, because like some shit always goes down. Like I don't think anything happened officially according to the news in Miami, but yeah, like you saw the most shootings we've ever seen in Chicago, which is like a fucking new record every fucking week it seems. So it's just sad that we kind of like low-key predicted this like 3 months ago. Like like it seems that like according to like my cop friends and Marine friends that like this summer is going to be very aggressive. Like it always is, but it's going to be even worse because of quarantine. And bro, it's really just turning out to be that, which is just like kind of nerve-wracking, bro, because like, again, I'm going to New York this weekend. I'm going to be out and about both days I'm there. So it's like, bro, I'm trying to just like enjoy my family and friends. Like I'm not really trying to worry about like the wrong crowd, like trying to start some shit because it's fucking hot outside.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Obviously the pandemic made it far worse than probably it was going to be. Even though it seems like the summertime, there's always crazy shit going on in general, especially now because everybody's out. And I'm sure everyone's, just being reckless themselves, and just being an easy target. So hopefully things quiet down and we normalize in that sense. I think that's the only downside of the pandemic is like, yeah, we got to reset, but like some people, the government just basically pushed it aside, and those people are desperate as hell for like, and they're willing to lose everything.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, do you think it's just like people being locked in for so long and just don't know how to act now that they're out? Or is it also just people no longer have the means to like survive? And they're like, bro, let me go fucking rob someone or some shit right now who is like out and flaunting it because they're dying to be outside so I can see them with their money out. And like, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder, like, which one do you think it's more of?
I feel like I'd say the latter, like no longer have means to survive. So I feel like this affected like damn near every single industry. I'm sure even if you're a fucking drug dealer, it probably affected you because people are just too paranoid to like go out. And I think over time people were just like, we need to find a new hustle. And then that's how like people just started stealing those bulldogs even more, or not bulldogs, whatever they're called, French.
Yeah, French bulldogs. Yeah,
French bulldogs. Stealing those, and then people are just like, oh, and I think it also has to do with the fact that police are only have the bandwidth to target violent crime. Because I know
it's like a perfect whirlwind right now for like if you are like struggling financially, you see people on the gram, you can look at geotags, you can see where they're going to be at, and then you know the cops probably aren't going to address it unless it's like a murder, which you're probably not trying to do.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably the biggest thing now that I think about it, is they know they're just going to get a slap on the wrist. I'm sure it varies from town to town, but I know for a fact, like, I mean, the police, I'm pretty sure, said it on that conference call I was on, where I was just kind of listening. They said something along the lines of like, if it's not a violent crime, like it's going to be deprioritized essentially. So, you could steal shit, do whatever, and, chances are you won't get in trouble unless you're like, the cops right there.
Yeah. So sometimes, like, I feel like right now, like, to your point, it seems that like the risk is kind of worth the reward right now. Because it does. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like why is it that extreme? But yeah, like some people like legit like their jobs never came back, or they just they're so far behind on everything. I also believe that I think as of like this week, Florida, but all those like eviction and mortgage like deals where like you could like hold off on making payments is like done. So you're saying like those evictions might go through the roof now. So like imagine if you're a guy struggling and you're just trying to like, cover next month's rent and you don't have a job. This might be it. You're looking for any reasons. Like, yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. And I heard a lot of people are still on unemployment too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like in general. So that's what's kind of weird to me. And I know some people, I mean, there's been memes and some people have mentioned like there's a lot of people just not returning to like restaurants can't find anyone
because they're getting paid more money just to stay at home.
Exactly. So that kind of makes me wonder why certain people are still out here,
well, yeah, you're right. But I feel like
maybe they don't qualify.
Yeah, you're right. But I don't know I don't know if all jobs qualify for unemployment, right? If you had just like some part-time job or something like that, like, or you got paid under the books, under the table, like off the books, like, I wonder if those are the people struggling, and then actually committing these crimes, like have like the I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm gonna just go and by any means, like, pawn this guy's watch or steal his car.
Yeah.
Blah, blah.
Yeah, it seems like a big shit show, and obviously people are gonna take advantage, even if they don't necessarily need the money. I'm sure there's all kinds of like unemployment PPP loan type fraud where people may be down bad, but they're like, fuck it, like everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, just joining the crowd, kind of back to like the protest back in the day when like shit looked bad, but it was like anyone actually like involved in it. So yeah, man. So everyone out there, stay safe. Again, we're only halfway through the summer right now. Plenty of fun to be enjoyed, but yeah, I would just say be aware, and if it's like a major holiday, maybe not be in it. But to your point, bro, like kind of like being back in LA and missing the vibe. Like I'm starting to see that more and more with like New York and LA and like even in Miami trying to plan something. Like all these like parties are like happening again. Where like like the Everyday People one, the Koyo Taco one in the back, like the Solection is even doing like his own like residency in fucking Vegas. So I'm like, yo, should we just go to Vegas for a night and go fucking see this dude? So like that is what I'm missing. So I am excited to be a part of that soon because I'm like, yo, I gotta have it. Like I think the only real taste I've had about that was like when you were here at the end of May or beginning of May, right? So like that's like the last time that I actually like experienced that. So I'm like, damn, I really, now that that's like a norm again, like I feel like I'm about that shit.
Yeah, 100%. But like you said, I need to make sure my pockets are straight because every single day I was like, I need to go out, take advantage of this, especially because I mean I can come back to LA essentially whenever I want, but
right.
At the same time, like I don't know if stuff's gonna close down again. I don't know, if they're gonna have new restrictions the next time I can actually have fun.
The Delta variant trying to fuck up the whole summer, like bro, I'm like, don't do this to us, please.
Right.
But it's funny you say that, dude, about like keeping your pockets straight. So same, dude. Like I have, like God willing, I'm gonna be in New York every week for like the next another 2 months, and I've already been doing that since April. But bro, like, so again, to your bachelor party is already confirmed, right? Dude, It is now exactly a month before the other bachelor party, and nothing is confirmed. And like, he can listen to this podcast, or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But bro, I am refusing to remind him because I'm like, bro, if it doesn't happen, we'll go out to Miami, it'll be fine. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, bro, like if I can save like a couple, like $100, like $1,000 or $1,200, like I'm more than happy to do that. And we can go out for like a nice dinner and like call it fucking night,
For sure. And the last thing I ever want to do is like remind someone to do something they like kind of want to do. Like, so, I mean, for all you know, he's like, I mean, he doesn't want to go maybe, but like, if two people remind him, then he might be like, fuck, I can't let my boys.
Yeah, I don't want to make you feel pressed, especially like if it's your thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, bro, this is like, I'm down, but like, I also have a reason. Like, if you come to me like a week before, I'm like, bro, like you're asking me a week before. I no longer have the PTO. Like, let's just but but I was just like, bro, it's exactly a month before, and like nothing's booked, nothing. I'm just like, oof. So that might be an extra $1,200 I have for a week in October.
Sure. I mean, that I find it hard to imagine that anyone could plan a trip like that within a month and have like everything be booked and smoothly taken care of.
Yeah. I mean, what's wild though, at least for Miami, like, and you would think it'd be more aggressive because there's so many Colombians here. So people just not even like going to visit, just like going home. But like, yo, these flights are so wide open, like crazy, like for that time of year. But yeah, no, I agree. Like you want people to like kind of have the build up, you know what I mean? You don't want this to be feel like a last minute thing where it feels rushed. So even like if what the final result is a good thing, people are still gonna have that taste in their mouth, like, bro, it was last minute and you just asked me, you know what I mean? So like, I'd rather just like, the way you're doing it, bro, is fucking A1. So I'll keep that in mind, like if I ever do my own, but like, yeah, like I was like, bro, I'm like, cause I just set my boss like all my PTO dates for the rest of the year. And I had to ask for those days off, but I'm like, am I really gonna be off, bro? Like, I feel like I'm gonna be here, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, so like with mine, for instance, some people called out the fact that like I was planning everything. They're like, shouldn't the best man be doing it? Like, wow, you're doing it earlier and stuff. And then one of my friends who likes to analyze people and who's supposed to come brought up like the Myers-Briggs thing and all that, like diagnosed me in terms of my personality type. And he's like, basically, you don't trust anyone to get it done, so you'd rather just like handle it all in the beginning and like have it be laid
what are
out.
your I have two comments to that. So what are your Myers-Briggs letters?
I think you said INFP, if I'm
so it's funny because I've done that test multiple times, bro, since I've been in corporate America, and I every single time get the same one. I'm an INFJ.
Got it.
So I'm an introvert that goes off intuition, but I'm still very feely. But I do like judge people.
Yeah.
So, like,
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, like I still judge people.
No, I was gonna say low key when I first got my letters, I forget which letter it was, but like part of you might feel a bit like offended or insulted, like when you hear certain personality types do certain things or have certain ranks in companies, because he was like, oh, this is what CEOs are, and I'm like, well, does that mean I can't be a fucking CEO or leader or some shit? But I know a girl who's an INFJ, but the interesting thing is you come across infinitely more extroverted than her.
Yeah, I mean, there's levels to it, right? Like, no one's an extreme I or an extreme E, and for the other ones, But I get INFJ all the time. And then the second part, bro, but I do think the reason why, and I could be wrong, obviously I'll say this now, because I feel like I would do the same, bro, if it's an international trip where there's so many moving pieces and like you're the common denominator amongst all of these people. I just feel like inevitably it's like, yo, why wouldn't I take care of this? You know what I mean? Like, if we're just going to Vegas and you just need an email list, like that's one thing. You know what I mean? But if we're gonna go to Colombia, we got to make sure passports are fucking active. We got to make sure, like, you know what I mean? I just feel like it kind of makes sense that like the groom who knows everyone is the one planning it.
Right. And also, like, I think I mentioned this to you before, but you obviously know I went.
Right. You also
so I
already
already
went
knew,
there.
Knew the whole itinerary, like what I wanted to do, what I didn't want to do. So I figured just fucking copy paste what we had already done 2 years ago, and then like the work is pretty much done.
Yeah, dude, but I think I would do the same exact thing. I'm gonna do the same like me whenever that happens, like, bro, because to your friend's point, like, I don't think I would trust anyone to do it exactly how I want it done, right? And then I also don't want to get there and it's not what I want. And I'm like, bro, this is about me and this is what the fuck we did. Like, in what fucking world do you think I would enjoy this? You know what I mean? So to not put that fucking like hate on someone else, I would just fucking like, yo, let me do it. Don't worry about it. Venmo me, Zelle me, and we'll figure it out later.
Right. And I'm glad I brought up the passport shit, because I found out 2 people in the group have expired ones. And I don't even think I found out through the email I sent. I found out like passively talking to them. And then one of them doesn't even have a passport, so he has to apply. So I'm glad I found out now, because even with the expedited service, I think it takes a month or 2.
Yo,
if
man,
you don't
dude,
do that shit.
When I went to DR in March, when I went to Dominican Republic last October, dude, like a lot of people had to back out the trip because they didn't get, they assumed they would have their passport back. And I'm like, bro, because of COVID, like everything is so backed up.
Yeah, so fingers crossed they don't back out last minute.
Yeah, but we good though, definitely not. But kudos to you for planning that shit. Very, very smart of you, and I'm excited. We're exactly 3.5 months away, something like that.
Yeah.
So
yep.
Plenty of time to get hyped up for that. But get the show on the road. Audio Theory episode 79, chugging along here. So I mean, I feel like we have a few things to run through, but I feel like the one that kind of stuck out to me, just like the most controversy that seemed to be so polarizing on both ends of it, was the not Olympic athlete, the female runner. I think her name is Sha'Carri Richardson. So she was banned from the Olympics for testing positive for marijuana. And this got very extreme reactions. Like, one was like, this is fucking bullshit. 2021, these people who are banning her probably invested in THC companies. And the other extreme was like, well, you should have fucking known, like, don't do fucking weed if you know they test for weed before the Olympics. So just kind of wanted to get your take on the whole thing.
So I definitely know about this story. I didn't dive too deep into the granular details of what took place, but did they ever confirm like when she smoked? Like,
so she said, so she broke some fucking record, bro. She qualified for the Olympics like 2 weeks ago, and she smoked the week prior. And her reasoning was that she found out that her biological mother passed away, so she was stressed. But then also admitted she smokes weed kind of all the time, from like other comments. So, but yeah, she definitely admitted to smoking like a week before.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a really tough one. I mean, regardless of what took place, I think it's stupid that weed is ever this thing that could disqualify these athletes, just because I don't think it really gives them an advantage in like any case, really. I could be wrong, but I always thought it was weird that like basketball players couldn't do it. Can't they do it now?
The NBA promised in this season that they're no longer testing for it.
Got it. Yeah, I think it would almost be like testing someone for alcohol, and it's like, but yo, this shit would be a disadvantage if anything.
Yeah, I'm all kinds of fucked up on this track.
So yeah, I mean, I think it definitely sucks and is bullshit, but I mean, if it's part of the rules, like, I don't get why she would take that risk, but I understand if that's like really, if her reasoning is really what took place, then like I'd have no choice but to sympathize with her. But yeah,
I'm somewhere in the middle as well, dude, because I definitely like sympathize with the situation. Like, bro, like you were Olympic, like you want, like your dream, if you're like in that field, is just to make the Olympics, right? So like to have that dream literally removed from you like a week after like your highest of highs. But I mean, my thing, bro, like they didn't add weed to this list like last week. Like that's always been the rule, right? And there's hundreds of thousands of other athletes who probably smoke weed all the time who knew that rule and were like, all right, bro, I cannot smoke anytime near, qualifying for an event. It's like my other thing, like, bro, that's the fucking rule. Like, don't fucking do it. That's like my thing, bro. Like, it's like I feel bad for her. Like, obviously, her mom passing away is terrible, and like anything you can do to cope with that, I'm gonna always, vouch for that. But my dude, like, this is like a specific, like, bro, like you knew this rule. Like, you knew they give you a list of all the banned substances. So like they didn't just add this one to screw you over. So that's like when people are making like a race thing. I'm like, bro, like this is not race, dog. Like this is not like, oh, let's try to remove this black girl from this thing. I'm like, yo, like everyone who smokes weed and gets caught, like they're gonna like ban you until that rule is removed. Now we can talk about that, like, hey, let's push to remove that so this never happens again to somebody else. But as far as you specifically, like, bro, like these are the rules. So that's where I feel like I'm kind of black and white. I'm like, bro, like those are the rules. Now, like, I can't blame you if we change the rules like 5 years from now and then we go back. Like that's bullshit, or vice versa. But like that's the rule right now. You knew what the rule was. You still decided to smoke. That's on. So like I kind of don't feel bad when it's like, bro, like this is so self-inflicted.
Right. Yeah. It's. I think the reason why people are outraged really is because, I mean, I think the average person doesn't see smoking a joint or whatever as this malicious thing, let alone 100%. Something that could give someone an advantage. So in the grand scheme of things, yes, it's bullshit to like crush someone's dreams over something that probably wouldn't give them an advantage. But like you said, I mean, if the rules are very obvious, I mean, you could probably ask anyone who doesn't know shit about the Olympics, and they probably assume that they can't like do any drugs of any sort before.
Right. Yeah,
in
and
order
there's plenty of dumb rules, bro. Like fucking think back to like SAT testing. Like you use the wrong fucking pencil, you fucking failed. You know what I mean? Like how is that fair? I knew all the answers. Why, motherfucker? We told you for the past year use a number 2 pencil. You know what I mean? Like so like shit like that. It's like it could be so like mundane, but like if you already know these rules, like you just gotta fucking follow them, dog. If you want to be in that like sport, like no one's saying you have to be in track and field, but if you want to be in track and field, like this is just the fucking rule. Like,
it's kind of like the mask shit. Like people would show up knowing damn well that the grocery store or whatever was going to require a mask, and they would just flip out and like make up every excuse in the world. I have asthma. I fucking have an ugly nose and like all kinds of shit just to not like people literally cut a hole in the mask just because the woman was trying to like use semantics and be like, look, this just says it needs to like be attached to your ears and like on your chin or something. So I think it's ridiculous that people are going to go that hard for her, and also ridiculous when people bring race into it, because I don't think that honestly has anything to do with it
at all, dude. At all. Now like people were making like, hey, like people were like said if this was Michael Phelps this wouldn't be a big deal. I'm like, I don't think that's true, dog. Like I think it's just the rule. So again, she's been completely, so she was banned, and then there was hope that she could qualify for a race that technically is after the ban but during the Olympics, like while it already starts. But like it was I think the 4x4 relay or something, whatever the relay races in track and field. But they just came out today and said that we're not going to pick her for the race at all for violating the term. So sucks for her, but I think it's just a lesson. Either just fucking change these rules, or if these are the rules and you want to be a part of that industry, if it's a fucking part of your job, then I just you got to fucking follow the rules until you can fucking change them.
I hate hypotheticals like that, by the way. Like if this was Michael Phelps or Bieber or whatever, this wouldn't happen. I think the only way you can say that, like with conviction, would be to have evidence of like a track record of, I don't know, 20 black athletes who all got ejected for drugs, and then 20 white athletes who all were known to be smoking weed or whatever, and they just got pushed through. Then you could say that shit, but you can't just be like, oh, Michael Phelps is white, therefore I know for a fact he would have, been
I'm 100% sure in trouble. I'm like, I don't think so, bro. Especially because like, if anything, like her racing would have been great for like American, like just like have her as like a representative of like of the country, because like dude, there was so much buzz around her. But like I think again, I feel bad for the idea of like, damn, you won't be able to go, but like if it's self-inflicted, bro, like you just got to be smarter in my opinion.
It's unfortunate, but hopefully she'll be fine.
So some other last week that we didn't get into, because we had the interview. We'll catch up on the interview shortly. But let the people know what happened with your boy Little Uzi in St. John. I think was it in Miami?
No, it was in LA, in West Hollywood.
Okay.
So allegedly, Lil Uzi Vert pulled up on St. John, and his ex-girl, Lil Uzi's ex-girl, like hopped out of Escalade, confronted the two, apparently tried to swing at St. John, did like one of those cartoon extra punches where you spin around like 20 times.
The Tyler Hero punch? Like
that punch. Those long ass uppercuts. And then his gun fell out of his pocket. And apparently he picked up the gun and like put it to his ex-girl's chest and like threatened to shoot her or something. Apparently allegedly. This is all alleged. And obviously this took the internet by storm, and everyone's just like, holy shit, what is going on here? I don't know if there's footage out. I mean, that area is super populated. It's not like this happened in some like elevator or something. So, or even if it did, there definitely would be footage, but it's not like it was in some alleyway or something. So I'm sure there will be footage of it, especially if it did take place and all this craziness took place. But we'll see. I mean, Big John's like 5 times the size of Lil Uzi, so I would see why he would bring a gun to that fight.
Well, I mean, I feel like he's always strapped. Like, because I think there was
Legally?
like a video. Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
he can't be in LA unless he somehow magically got a concealed carry license.
Well, yeah. So I think he has a light. I just know he's like. There's multiple videos where like people, like fans, because he has like those fancy cars, like the Bugatti cars, and like those wild R8s. And then there's multiple videos like people rolling up on him and like him saying like, "Yo, chill, motherfucker, I'm strapped. Like you can't just be jumping at me and shit like that." So I wasn't surprised about being strapped. But dude, what I've come to learn is like never judge a book by his cover. Because bro, this is like the second or third time that like Uzi has pulled up on someone and like not given a fuck. Like I feel like the most vivid one I can remember like a year and a half ago, he pulled up on Rich the Kid at like Starbucks and beat the living shit out of Rich the Kid, bro. And I was just like, bro, what the fuck?
I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that, I was like, why are people so afraid of him? I mean, I'm not saying like he's a bitch, but like he's relatively small. I didn't think he had a gun.
He's very feminine, right? So like I think naturally we just think like, bro, like he's not a girl, but like he does feminine things. Like you would think like no one who does that shoulder thing is ever gonna beat my ass. Like, but bro, this dude has no fear, bro. Like he just pulled up on Rich the Kid dolo. Like, bro, I will fuck you up, and then like proceeded to fuck him up. So like the best out of all of this, I'm like obviously like having a gun involved and like something is ridiculous and like shouldn't happen. But like I just wasn't surprised that he pulled up on anyone anymore, because I'm like, kind of makes sense, bro. Because it seems like he's super emotional, and if he feels wrong, bro, he's gonna go pull up on anyone. I don't go fuck. And St. John, bro, I know he's like our age or older than us. Like he's like 33, 34. So has like 10 years on Uzi, is probably a good 90 pounds heavier than him. And like Uzi did not get like that's like salute to him for just like not giving a fuck. Now, was it smart? Probably not. But like, dude, that was that's amazing.
Yeah. But it's also like, I mean, not to throw shade at Rich the Kid, but like Rich the Kid doesn't strike me as like this super big bad intimidating rapper. So I'm curious. I mean, St. John, I think definitely has a more intimidating build. Like I wouldn't want to fight him, but at the same time, I mean, Rich the Kid probably pulled up with like security or somebody to like have his back if shit really went left. I feel like a lot of these artists, especially if they're hotheads like him from the streets, just kind of feel, especially if they have money too, kind of feel invincible in a lot of these situations, to where they're like, I'll just have to, I can't put my pride to the side. Like I'll just do whatever I feel like, and whatever happens, even if I'm 4'5" or whatever.
Yeah, dude. I don't even think he's 5 foot, bro. That dude's like tiny, fam. Like he's tiny.
Yeah. If you could see how tiny someone is, like on camera, then you know they're short. Because some of these dudes look tall, like Tom Cruise or whatever. They're like 5'6", and he looks tiny, so he has to be like 4'9".
100%, dude. Like, I don't think he's even 5 foot, and he's like, but he has this massive persona that, again, so many people just respect. Did we get like an end result of this? Like, obviously, no one got shot, thank God. Did either of them come out and comment on this shit though, like Uzi or St. John?
No, I don't believe either of them did. I think Uzi may have gone live or something, but he obviously wouldn't have said anything really if something took place. But I haven't seen any confirmation, just like, oh, he's accused of hitting ex-girlfriend, but I haven't seen any videos or like commentary really. Got it.
Yeah, again, obviously summertime bonds at an all-time high, no matter what part of the tax bracket you're on. But like I think the biggest thing was just like another situation where like you would think Uzi Vert would like back down, and this motherfucker just does not care, which is just hilarious to me, because you would think he'd be like the nicest, sweetest person in the world. You see all his videos of him like with kids, you know what I mean? Just like giving them ice cream,
always smiling,
and shit. Always
dancing,
happy,
shoulder shrugging,
and then just like, but I will fuck up anyone. I'm like, bro, that's amazing.
I know a lot of little people like that.
Yeah, like the Napoleon complex, but it just seems like just funnier just for him. But he was also, so Uzi was at two of the biggest parties, bro, which is why like I really want either you to pop off, so we need to talk about Blair Anthony in a second as well. I want you to pop off so we can go to some of these fucking events, because bro, we need to be at these parties. That's like, we need to put that out there, like 2025 we're gonna be at the Rock Nation brunch or at the Ruben July 4th party, because bro, there were some crazy ass parties over July 4th, not the ones we were at. So Diddy had a crazy ass party in California, I think. And yeah, it was California. And the owner of the Sixers, I don't know his first name, but Ruben, he's always with Meek Mill, like in everything.
Yeah.
He threw a crazy ass party in the Hamptons where everyone was fucking at, bro. Like Diddy's party seemed more fun, but like, bro, this dude had everyone at this white party, dude, from Jay-Z to fucking Bobby Shmurda to Lil Uzi Vert. Yeah, it was just like the who's of fucking party. So if you had to choose, which party would you be going to if you had both invites in your hand?
The Diddy one or this one?
Yeah.
Honestly, like this one looked, I mean, I can't say this with 100% confidence, but because I haven't seen that many Diddy parties and like paid attention to like every scene that's taking place, but this one looked super fun. I don't know if it was just because of the Uzi breakdancing and everyone's faces, but the Diddy one seemed more like I'm here to like be seen and like make an appearance. This one seemed like, all right, we're trying to like rage and fucking just have a good time and fuck with all our white clothes.
I totally agree, bro. And just same. I would go to the Ruben party, if I had both invites, because it just seemed like so much more fun, as opposed like, you hit it on the head, like not just an opportunity to be seen, because you know it's not an opportunity just to be seen if like Jay-Z's there, right? Like he's like, bro, I give two fucks. I'm not gonna act stupid for no reason. And then, dude, you had a picture of Quavo with his arm around Bon Jovi. I'm like, bro, like just like the extremes of like the people at this party. Like you could literally just network and have a good time with like a fucking pop icon to a fucking like billionaire mogul. Like it just seemed like so all over the place that it had to be a good time, right? You have fucking Bobby Shmurda. Like, dude, a year ago he was fucking locked up. And then, you know, he's at this party, he's living his best life with no content out. Like, just because it's like, bro, come, you're famous, just be here. It's just like, bro, like, it just seems like it has to be a good time. Yeah,
it seemed like a really good time. I'm not a fan of parties where, like, everyone's too cool for school. Sometimes like, when I look at, like, fun, no one's having fun. They're all got shades on, mad dogging each other, and, like, there's random thoughts in the background, and then, you know, that's it. Granted, I mean, obviously, I don't know everything that goes down at these parties. It's just highlights of random moments.
Just highlights, bro. And I think about that time where I remember there was a video where like Kevin Hart was taking a picture with Jay-Z at a basketball game, and then like before the picture, like they still had the like voice, like the video on, and it was like, I'm gonna look at you and just laugh, all right? Ha ha ha. You know what I mean? So like, like they like, I get it, but like this seemed like, again, we don't know, but it seemed like genuine. Like there was videos of like OG Chase B and Travis Scott like fucking losing their mind in the DJ booth. So like it's just definitely goals for sure to get invited to one of those parties. But if I had to choose one, I think I would go with the Ruben one for sure.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah. All right, man. So halfway point of the show, halfway point of the year. So we've gotten, I know it was a fucking slow start because we had our where people are just like dragging their feet because they're not trying to, you know, because everyone drops now, like tells the world 2 days before they drop, hey, album dropping on Friday night at midnight. But I think a lot of people didn't want to take that chance at going up against Drake. But we've gotten like a good amount of content over the past like 2 months. With 6 months left in the year though, what are some things or some artists that you're really putting on the clock? Like, bro, I need a project from you like ASAP.
Yeah, I definitely put Drake up there. I think everyone is aware that he's going to be dropping something. But for me, again, like we've been waiting on this shit since the beginning of the year. So if he doesn't do it soon, like I'm going to get to the point where, I mean, I'm always going to care, but I'm going to get to a point where I'm like, all right, I'm not going to drop everything I'm fucking doing, even though I probably will. That's the mindset I'm kind of having now. Like, you need to hurry up because the hype is more like even for you dying down a little bit.
Yeah, it's like annoyance at this point, kind of. Like maybe not complete annoyance because like right, we still have 6 months, but it's to your point, like it's like, yo, where the fuck is it, right?
And hopefully I don't think he's really explained why, other than, you know, the injury he had, and maybe he's tweaking some things. But I hope we get some clarity on like, okay, song number 8 was like some new shit that I just really had to include or something. So at least there's a little bit of context. But at least that one's a reality that's gonna come true. And then other than him, I'd probably say I'm really hoping for like a Kendrick or a new Travis project. Just some
the
hard
Travis
hitters.
one, dude. We're going on some time now since he dropped that song with was it Franchise with Young Thug
MIA?
and like it's been almost, I'm not saying a year, but close.
Yeah. So it's been a minute for him. Kendrick, I just haven't heard from him in such a long time. So like I think that news would probably realistically excite me the most because Drake and Travis, it's not like they disappeared from the scene really.
Right.
They've just been doing their own shit here and there. So hopefully Kendrick will come through.
Yeah, same for me. I mean, Drake and Travis at the top for sure. Like, just you want to get more content from those guys. Like, sometimes you wonder, like, if Travis is just more excited about just doing like collabs and shit, like clothing wise. Which, again, he really is like a hip hop icon in that sense. Like, everything that he is a part of, like, just fucking sells out. And like, he just did a full Dior collab, which is wild. So like, kudos to him. But yeah, music wise, you want to remember that it's about the music. So I would say Travis up there as well. Dude, but I know we got a Young Thug YSL like collab album, but like I really want like a Young Thug album like by himself. Like that's the fuck I want. Like I really want another project from him. And then also I would want another project. Funny we say this like when we fucking bashed his album when it first came out, but I think I want another Gunna album as well. So we can just have like, cause that sound is just like so perfect, bro. Like, especially if you want to go outside, like you want to have a good time. Like, dude, literally like Young Thug named his fucking previous album So Much Fun. Cause like, bro, what's like a more suitable name than like listening to Thug, right? Like, it's just like having fun listening to music. So I feel like those two are the ones that, not from like the massive names, that like, I'm like, I really want these guys to drop something in the next like 5-6 months.
For sure. Love Young Thug, love Gunna. I don't know if you got to that part in the podcast, and maybe we could talk about it in another episode, but the Schultz Academics or Flagrant podcast appearance, they talked about Lil Baby for a little bit. And
I didn't get to that part yet. No, I just wrapped up the part where they were talking about how like the industry shares the same females over and over and over again.
Oh, that's a good part. I mean, no spoilers with the Lil Baby thing. I've already said it before, but like, I guess the unpopular opinion I have is that I actually prefer Gunna's like flow and catalog a bit more. And I definitely see like Lil Baby's appeal. I always kind of found myself being confused whenever Lil Baby was mentioned as like the guy, like even above Drake, and he's taken over everything. Because I don't think he personally has as wide of appeal that Drake has and will ever have that, because I think he's more of a street rapper, and I don't think he's gonna ever transcend to that like pop shit that even DaBaby has done.
Yeah. I can see your point on that one. I mean, for him, I can just see that it's like his star just rose so quickly. So I think people are just like more enamored, like, wow, this guy really fucking rose to the top fast. But I think there's still levels where like maybe he got to like a tier B. He'll never get to where Drake is, like even on his best like 5-year run. But I mean, those videos that I sent you were like the cartoons of like Lil Baby in the studio with like Drake and then like Lil Durk. Like I feel like that's like a real thing, but like he hops on these guys' verses and like at least for that 3 minutes has the best verse. So that's where I think people are like, oh shit, like he fucking outrhymed Drake in his own song. Like he has to be better. Like that's where like that kind of stupid talk comes from.
Got it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to him more and try to give him a chance. But kind of like NBA Youngboy, like I feel like there's certain artists where it's just not gonna click. And I mean, it's impossible to like every artist, even if they're selling out arenas and doing all this other shit.
Yeah, and have like 13 million followers on Instagram and YouTube. Yeah. You know, I feel you. Even though that song, that verse that Youngboy did have on that Tyler Creator album was actually pretty good. I enjoyed that. But yeah, especially I agree with your point though. Like even though Lil Baby is more world renowned than Gunna, because I think Gunna has a very niche sound that a lot of people fuck with, but it's not like massive yet. I do enjoy Gunna's overall catalog more, even though like on the Little Baby Gunna collab mixtape, I did enjoy Little Baby's verses more.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed like if you compare like Little Baby's most recent album to Gunna's most recent album, like I enjoyed track 1 through whatever way more on Gunna's album.
For sure. And I feel like Gunna's more versatile because every now and then I'll come across like a pop song and Gunna's on it and it flows effortlessly, and then he'll be on like a Caribbean sounding song and flow effortlessly. I don't know if I know the Baby's probably, everyone would say, technically like a better rapper, like can, you know, put words together more skillfully or whatever, kind of like an Eminem versus say fucking Quavo or something. But at the same time, for me, I definitely prefer an artist that can like bend around and do different things like Drake can, obviously.
Yeah, and like even that video that I think we found last summer where like that where Gunna was performing with like a full band behind him, and they like did a random like change aggressively from one song to the next, and like it just like it's so artistic that like in that moment like he no longer was a rapper, he was just like an artist. Like I have more moments like that with Gunna and Young Thug than I do with Lil Baby, right? Yeah, doesn't take away anything from either of them, but I'm just saying like I think we both geared towards that kind of artist because it's like, oh, you're like, you love this, right? It's not just like, oh, you're doing this to make money and like you're doing the obvious shit. Like when you have a fucking orchestra behind you and you're doing like, that's like proper artistry. And I think we both like, and our listeners kind of geared towards that more than the other stuff.
100%.
But speaking about shit we're looking out for, bro, I think you were teasing a little bit on the gram last night about some studio efforts, so the people know what Blair Anthony specifically is working on.
Yes, sir. So last night, was my younger brother Corey? His boy from college is an artist himself. He goes by King Hefe. So shout out King Hefe. He apparently rents a studio in like the Orange County area pretty frequently. So it turns out he had a few tracks he wanted to work on. He actually even recruited my brother Corey to sing like a few hooks here and there. Even though
nice, dude.
He doesn't, at least, I mean, maybe in the future he will, but like right now he's not actively pursuing music, but gave my brother a chance to sing a couple things that sounded really good. And he asked me to hop on, do a verse on one of his songs. So it was like the first or one of the few times where I had the pressure to like write within 20 minutes or whatever. Normally if I'm writing
so you heard the beat for the first time last night?
I heard the beat for the first time like before we drove down there. So I had a little bit of an idea in my head, but I only had like 2 lines written. And then we got there and then they played the beat like over and over. They laid down their stuff first, which took like, I don't know, half an hour.
Okay.
And I finished mine. And they really liked it. So it was nice to like kind of have that new moment because I'm accustomed to writing for myself on my own time, and I'll literally might take 2 weeks like finishing a song because
there's no rush, right?
So that was cool. But I actually have a song that I finished that I really want to release as soon as possible. My personal favorite or I shouldn't say favorite, but the one I'm most proud of in terms of it sounding like radio ready, so to speak.
Really?
And Angelo, who we interviewed several months back, I got him to master it.
Oh, nice, dude.
He's crazy skilled in terms of his mastering ability. So really pleased with how it's sounding so far. So hopefully it'll be released like by the end of the month or something.
That's sick, dude. Awesome. So was that your first time though last night, like being in a proper studio setup, or? No,
I had actually been to one a few times in like 2010, 11. One of my boys, he was like I want to say bassist for a band, and kind of had access to the studio. So every now and then he would invite me in, and I would just like, I think he would actually make beats for people and then like have me just write and spit some lyrics over it to use as like a reference track, like, oh, this is how this beat might be able to sound. And then he let me record a couple of my own like remix songs back then. So
nice.
I've been in the studio before. It's funny because tracks for other artists, and then he would even let me do some of my tracks. But the funny thing is, I still bring up this moment, but one of the few times I was in the studio way back then, I was talking to my now fiance and I was trying to flex while I was trying to get at her to be like, oh, what are you up to? And I think she was like, oh, I'm at some bar over here with some friends. She's like, are you able to come now? And I was literally at the studio, but of course I wanted to flex and I was like, I can't, I'm in the studio recording right now. She had no idea I even like made music. Obviously had like fucking 8 followers at that time. But she always brings that up. But I wasn't lying. I was just telling the truth. It just happened to be at the time a truth I thought was cool. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I don't know if I see the need to spend money on studio time now, just because a lot of that work can be done at home. But
yeah, especially because like if you get people like Angelo, other people, it's like master the sound for you. It's like, you know, you're just kind of spending money to spend money.
Yeah. And the experience is dope. It's kind of one of those things you can't like replicate over Zoom or something. But I might do it every once in a while if I'm ever back down. But yeah, that's the reason I was there, and it was just really good vibes all around.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, it was exciting. I saw that pop up last night. I was like, oh shit, you know, something's coming out. So yeah, let the people know when that drops, and obviously looking forward to the song that you just, you know, that you're super excited about for yourself specifically. But that's what you got going on. What we got going on last week. The reason why we didn't have a full episode is because we did the interview with Joey Sherritt. So great time. That interview's up right now, doing great numbers on YouTube, and obviously available on where we put our podcasts out every single week as well. So definitely go check that out if you haven't yet. But I mean, dude, like your thoughts on that interview. I mean, for me, again, super cool dude. Energy is phenomenal, and again, someone in that 25 to 30 age range that, you know, maybe hasn't made it yet, but it's just so exciting to see someone who like still has a very clear plan about like, yeah, I'm gonna make it. That like me not making it yet is not stopping me. Like I'm gonna keep pursuing this. Like that was like probably the most like refreshing out of all of it.
For sure. And I really was excited to see like those posters or pictures or whatever he had on his wall.
Hell yeah.
Like manifest being in the arena. And that's when I always took him seriously, but when he showed that, I'm like, oh, this guy's like hungry to really make this dream come true. And he's not bullshitting. He's not just, you know, some SoundCloud rapper who, you know, wants clout or whatever. He's serious about his craft and honestly believed. As time went on throughout the interview, I'm like, oh, this guy knows exactly how to get there. It's just a matter of time. Yeah,
100%, dude. And like, and this is beautiful. Like he's living completely off music now, right? That was dope. Like, yeah, that's like the dream, right? I'm sure that's where you want to be with Blair Anthony, like at that career path. And I mean, for us, like we would love for this to be like our number one, you know, income, and we just use this income to do other things in life, right? So like, it's cool that he was able to figure out a way. Like, yeah, I'm gonna live, you know, very minimal right now, but I'm gonna live off music because that's all I want to do, and I don't want to waste any time of my day doing anything that's not really pertaining to my dreams. Like that was fucking like, holy shit, this dude's like young, but still trying to like, yo, this is it, and this has to be the only thing that makes me, you know, income, which was dope.
For sure. Yeah, I was excited to hear that. Honestly, wasn't expecting it because all the other people we interviewed, I believe they're hoping to turn it into a full-time thing.
Right.
I feel like he's, in general, probably an exception to the rule. I feel like most musicians, if I'm not mistaken, don't make their income isn't solely from music. So I thought that was super impressive that he was able to do that and also be relatively young.
Yeah, and I think just like that, and like also kind of that we just said, like we kind of lean towards like the more artistry of it. Like you can tell this dude like loves music. Like he was name dropping so many artists that he's like looked up to, kind of like sees himself as a little bit now. Then the fact that he produces the majority of his beats and like is so methodical about the way he thinks about songs, like that's just like someone you have to root for, because like, you know, they're whatever the fucking right reasons of doing music are, like his is to just make, I think he even said like, yo, I need to make good music so I can pass that on to like the next generation to know what like to run with, right? Like I feel like a lot of artists aren't thinking that way when they're trying to drop their fucking song on like iTunes on Friday at midnight. You know what I mean? Like it just like that's like a dope, like he seems very aware of like, you know, everything has a reason, everything I do has to matter. Otherwise, like, why are we doing it? So I feel like for someone that young to think that way, but for an artist to think that way, that's pretty fucking wild, because sometimes you think people just like, you know, just put shit out to put shit out.
Yeah. And one thing I kind of wish I elaborated on more with him, I mean, granted, I feel like I could predict like what his answers would be, but when he was talking about being at the label house and stuff, in my head, I just kept thinking like industry plant. And I'm like, is this what people think like the industry plant, you know, factory is like, or looks like it, or accusing is an industry plant factory? Because I did a little bit of research. I guess it's called artist development deal, and they're not like spoon feeding you songs or lyrics or anything, but it sounds like labels see talent in people such as him and then try to like hone their craft and network, get them to network with people and shit. But they're not, you know, just handing them you know, their entire, you know, 5-album catalog for the rest of the life.
Yeah. It's not like, hey, here's these lyrics, read it, you know, sing it, blah blah blah. I got you. But it's like, it's almost like a, what do they call that shit? Like a fucking like this, when you're like doing a startup, like those like
the incubators.
Like, yeah, incubators, right? They're like, hey, like, let's just fucking go in this lab, just stay there for as long as you can, and do not come out until you have like exactly what you need to become like a star. Yeah,
basically that. But a lot of people, even if that is the case, and like it still, you know, requires 99% of the work that it wouldn't versus any other situation, some people see that as like, oh, you're not just this like dude from the hood who, you know, was performing on, you know, some fucking boardwalk by the beach and you know, scraped up money to perform at the Madison Square Garden or something. Like people have a very specific idea in their mind of what like an authentic artist come up should look like.
Yeah, and that was cool that he shed light on that. And he's like, bro, I was a part of that, and it was just wasn't for me. But it's funny that his most recent song that's fucking, you know, would be a hit anywhere else, like if he probably had a major backing behind it, was very indicative of like that experience, which is why I love like this format so much when we have guests on and we talk about your songs as well. It's just like, bro, like we could have so many different ways of like trying to like interpret the song, but it's cool like to combine that with the actual reason behind like every lyric. And it's like, like yours obviously makes sense because it's your point of view, but like what I was thinking kind of also applies in some other weird way if you kind of use like, you know, the metaphors and stuff like to apply to this. So that's always cool.
Yeah, that was dope because I listened to this song a couple of days before the interview and was trying to decipher the lyrics so I could have a better conversation around it. And I had zero idea, obviously, that, you know, his experience in that label house or whatever.
Right. We would never go to that, right? We get the idea like, yo, I'm going to keep my head down. Shit's not going well right now. I'm going to just, like, you know, move forward. But you don't get like, oh, it's because you were really fucking hating life. You're like, bro, I can't do this. It's like, that's like, it's so much deeper than what we think it is sometimes at surface level. So that's why like this format's so cool. So yeah, man. So everyone who's listening, go watch that interview on YouTube up right now, and then comment on that as well. But also up on every single podcast platform, and we'll work on getting someone in May as well. Oh, sorry, in July. Fuck, it's already July, dude. we'll worry about getting someone this month as well to ensure we get that same energy on those interviews. But that's pretty much all I had, dude, as far as main topics. Or anything else you want to hit on before we get into Heat of the Week?
Nah, let's dive right in.
All right, my brother. So anything that stood out to you over the holiday weekend or last week that was like, yo, this was a fire song that everyone needs to check up on?
Yeah, honestly, so my brother showed me this song. It's called Disco Shit by 03 Greedo. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's an LA based rapper. He's not like big nationwide. Obviously you haven't heard of him, so I mean he's still kind of like a niche artist known on the West Coast, but he has a song with Kenny Beats as well as Freddie Gibbs. So the song's called Disco Shit.
Okay.
And it just had a very unique and refreshing vibe. It's something you'd vibe out to like if you're in your car at a party. It's not like lyrical or anything in that sense, in the conventional sense.
Okay.
But I really love the sound of it. So now that I've heard that one, I definitely want to check out more of his catalog, because I honestly only heard one song by him before that, and it was cool, but it wasn't anything that made me say, oh, I need to like seriously check out the rest of his music. But that one was fire.
Nice. All right, so I definitely need to add that one to the playlist right away. For me, dude, like, so this is gonna be kind of like not controversial because it's clearly a popular song and popular album. Tyler Creator's album went number 1 on the Billboard, so shout out to him. Call Me If You Get Lost. That kind of came out of nowhere. It was really like a Gangsta Grillz, mixtape kind of a thing. A DJ drama on every single song, hyping him up, which is cool. But for me, the song that stood out the most, and let me just make sure I'm fucking not butchering this, is Lumberjack. He has like a line about like, I'm glad that my dad didn't pull out, and like just like the whole like back and forth with that, like it was just fucking like grimy and shit. Like it was just like a cool vibe. Dude, his sound is like all over the place in this album. So like, whereas like the previous album and then like Flower Boy, like I loved like from the jump. Like there's a lot in this album that I know I like, I just don't love yet because it's not like a very cohesive, like, which I think is on purpose. Like, I think he wants to be like, going crazy on one song and then like chill on the next song, then like talking shit. Like, I think it's on purpose. So like, I think I know what he's trying to do. So I'll have like a better, like in-depth like review of it next week. But I know it's a good album. So like, shout out to him for going number 1 again. But the song that stood out to me as like the gem was Lumberjack to me, because I think it was just like him being very fucking clever and like kind of like Kid Cudi on his last album, like reminding people like, yo, I'm very good at like the artistry of this, but if I just want to rap, I'm probably better than you as well. So that was like what I took away on that song. Yeah, it definitely got like a lot of talk your shit type of energy from the album, and even his like social media clips that I've seen being shared around. And it's insane to think how popular he's become, because I remember in college when he dropped that, and I think we talked about it with Joey. We did actually. Yonkers, yeah. And I remember sharing it with some dudes in my fraternity, and like everyone was like, "Oh shit! Like, what is this weird shit?" And it almost seemed like he was just creepy and like satanic or something. And now he's a fashion icon. Yeah, fashion icon, loved by everybody, and just like a regular dude. I feel like he's kind of toned down his like shock value type. Right, because his shock behavior was so crazy that he got banned from entering the United Kingdom, bro. Like, how does that even fucking happen? You know what I mean? Because they thought he'd be like a disturbance to the peace if he was over there, which is wild. You know what I mean? So, So again, I don't think it's a bad album. I know I'm gonna love it. I'm just not there yet because it's not like an obvious sound. Whereas, like, I think with Igor as well, which I think we both picked to win Grammy and won the Grammy for Best Album that year in 2019, 2020. Like, that was a clear message and sound on every single track. Like, that could have been one long song, right? Whereas this is very much like a Gangsta Grillz mixtape where like it's like song 1 has nothing to do with song 3. Song 4 is completely different from song 8. So like, it's kind of just very different from what I'm used to from him. So that's why it's taking me a little bit longer to like properly take it in. Yeah. He's one of those artists that like I definitely respect. I don't know if I resonate or if a lot of his music resonates with me, but I get how people can appreciate how unique his sound and concepts and music videos are. His music videos are trippy as fuck. Trippy as fuck, dog. Again, back to the artist who like properly loves making music, right? So like, I feel like even if like you don't like this sound, you can still appreciate like, yo, this is why people love him. Because if you do like that sound, you know you're getting the best version of that sound because this fucking person like genuinely loves making this for you, or just loves making it, and you're gonna enjoy it. Right. And another person I appreciate, won't take up too much time to chat about him, but Hobson, in that podcast interview, he basically said
he doesn't really like release albums. He like focuses all of his efforts on a single song and the video for that song, because from his own experience, he gets just as much traction from doing that as opposed to releasing an album with 15 songs and then having a concert where, you know, people only know 4 out of those 15 songs, or maybe not even like the other fucking 11 songs. So it's interesting to know that like every artist kind of has their own particular ways of doing things and showcasing their art.
Yeah, dude. Again, it really is the at the artist's discretion, right? Like it's like, yo, like, what is your goal? Is your goal just to put out the best content you have, but obviously make a living off it? And it's like, bro, like if I can do this, like your boy Hops, like just do this and make a good living, like why would I stress myself out? Like, oh my God, like how do I make sure that track 9 matches the intro? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, because that could probably like leave artists fucking paralyzed. It's like, bro, like I don't even know what to do anymore. Let me just not make music, right? So,
right.
That's. I mean, there's so many ways to fucking do music that like I think it's refreshing when you see that people really just do their own thing and still are very successful to a certain degree doing that way.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man. All right, so we'll add both songs to the Heat of the Week playlist. We'll have a better review of the Tyler Creator album next week. Let the people know where to catch up on some stuff and what we got going on.
For sure. You can catch us at audio-theory.com on all major streaming platforms. We have the Heat of the Week playlist on Spotify as well as Apple Music. New episode every single week. So be sure to tune in, share, like, comment, subscribe, donate. Do everything you can to support the channel. And if you are an upcoming artist or even an established one who's lurking through our comment section, hit us up for an interview. Would love to chat.
100%, bro. Couldn't say it better than myself. When do you go back to San Fran?
I go back Monday night, so I got a little more time here.
Another weekend too. Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, man. So enjoy that. Let me know if you need a GoFundMe account to enjoy the weekend.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I might throw that in the description too.
Put that in the bio. All right, bro. Well, stay safe out there. Enjoy the family. Obviously, enjoy the friends. But yeah, man, appreciate everyone checking out again. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Appreciate you. Peace.
Love you, bro.